Here we have the Mevotech TXMS25574 front upper ball joint and the TXMS25575 front lower ball joint, both from our tough TTX line. Engineered with patented technology such as the dynamic control bearing, they provide an extended service life and are the ideal choice for the Jeep Wrangler JL and Gladiator JT. In this video, we will install these ball joints and show you some tips and tricks when working with this new Jeep front axle. Before starting the install, it's important to have the required tools on hand, including a calibrated torque wrench and a ball joint press with the appropriate cups, wrenches, ratchets, and sockets. Also be sure to wear the right safety gear and correctly and securely raise the vehicle. We can start by removing components at the wheel end, including the brake caliper, rotor, dust shield, wheel hub to steering knuckle bolts, and ABS bracket. When working on a vehicle equipped with a CV axle, a trick is to pull the entire wheel hub assembly and shaft without having to undo the wheel axle nut. Next, we want to begin removing the original ball joints by removing the upper and lower cotter pins and loosening the ball joint nuts. You'll notice that these nuts do not require much force to unfasten. Leave the nuts on with a couple of threads to help catch the steering knuckle when broken loose. Use a ball joint separator to disconnect the ball joints from the steering knuckle. Take off the lower nut and then the upper nut. Now the knuckle can be removed and placed out of the way. Let's move on to pressing out the original ball joint, starting with the upper. Carefully set up the appropriately sized cups and C-clamp. And here's a good tip: always oil the threads of the C-clamp before use. An impact gun with the correct socket will help speed up ball joint removal. For a proper install, it's important to clear all corrosion, rust, and other contaminants from the axle bores. At the same time, inspect for any signs of damage or imperfections. On the steering knuckle side, remove the upper sleeve from the bore and inspect again for signs of damage. Be sure to clean off all corrosion, rust, and grime from the sleeve and upper and lower bores. The sleeve should move freely when reinserted into the knuckle. Also inspect the bores for damage and/or other signs of out-of-roundness. Do not reuse if you find these components to be out of specification. We can now move on to installing the TTX ball joints, starting with the lower. Using a grease pencil, make an index mark to help ensure access for future relubrication service. The grease fitting should be appropriately in parallel with the lower stop-out tab on the axle. Another good tip when pressing in ball joints is to always use the correct size cups. As you can see here, the cup should securely rest onto the ball joint flange. Proceed with the install, taking the time to verify everything is square and in alignment. Install the supplied grease fittings. TTX ball joints include a protective cap to keep road contaminants away from the fitting. Continue with the install, making sure the upper sleeve is inserted into the bore and can move freely. Thread on the new ball joint castle nuts in preparation for the tightening sequence. It's important to highlight here that depending on whether your vehicle is equipped with an aluminum or cast iron steering knuckle, there are different torque values. However, the sequence remains the same, starting first with the lower ball joint, and then the upper, and then lastly the lower ball joint. Only a calibrated torque wrench should be used for final torque values and sequences with the steering knuckle in the straight-ahead position. Once the correct values have been achieved, manually advance the castle nut to the next available opening and insert the new Easy Snap cotter pin. Check that the steering knuckle sweeps freely through its range of motion and that there is no binding. Reassembly is performed in reverse order. Always follow the factory service manual for correct installation procedures and torque values.